Very, very warm welcome. I hope you can hear me okay. I know my voice is not great without microphone, but I also don't have to say much, except for it's really wonderful to have all of you here. I think we all know that's a super important topic and that we're very keen to learn more and also think together in this room about what we could possibly do. It's a really packed room and we're sort of coming together as a community, but not everyone knows each other, so since we, in a way, have very short time and we can't really get into a conversation and some people won't raise their hands, I wanted to suggest that at least you say your name to your neighbor, so we have a bit of a group feeling in some ways, if you want that. So, yeah.
But yeah, nice to see you, nice to have you. I think Ibrahim is going to say a little bit about himself, and then I will take questions and moderate the Q&A afterwards.
So, hallo, مساء الخير, guten Abend. أنا إبراهيم. My name is Ibrahim. I'm Sudanese, based in Berlin, and I'm part of Sudanese collective called Sudan Uprising. This is diaspora Sudanese group founded in 2018 to support the uprising in Sudan. So I will be just like showing some slides, going through the recent history of the political development and uprising in Sudan and the war in Sudan as I see it as a counter revolution in this against the Sudanese people. So it will be like not more than half an hour. I will try to make it like shorter, and then we have the room for if you have any comments or questions. And I'm so sorry for my English, but we cannot talk in Arabic. So, next. Next. So just this slide just to give you like a small fact about Sudan, like about the geographical position of Sudan, the geopolitics of the Sudan. So this is the Sudan. It's a land in Africa. It's like 50 million people almost, and occupies almost 1,900,000 square kilometers. And Sudan have a shore in the Red Sea. It's in the Red Sea, and it's like 750 kilometers long in Sudan, the Red Sea. And you know all how this is very important trade way for the world. And Sudan have the river Nile, and most of the river Nile water running in Sudan lands, almost 70% of its total. Here is the river Nile. The river Nile comes from the highland, the Blue Nile comes from the highland of Ethiopia, running through Sudan, and the White Nile coming from Jinja, from Uganda, and they meet, the Blue Nile and White Nile, they meet here in Khartoum city together, and they run toward Egypt and Middle Nile. Sudan has 8 countries, not 9, this is wrong. Borders by 8 countries, by the British colonial borders, which makes Sudan very rich and culturally diverse. So at least we have like 100 languages and dialects spoken through Sudan. But Arabic is still the lingua franca of the Sudanese people. And yeah, as you see, Sudan is bordered with Egypt, Libya, Chad, Central Africa, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Eritrea, and have natural borders with Saudi Arabia. And Sudan is also like a very rich in terms of land, arable lands and natural resource with animal protection and young forces and agricultural opportunities like biodiverse and livestock. And Sudan also is rich in terms of minerals, gas, gold. It's one of the biggest gold reservoir in this area, and a lot of minerals like silver, chromite, and granite, and also like a very fertile desert. Next. So this is another map of Sudan. Here is the Ethiopian Dam, the Ethiopian Grand Dam, and yeah, go. So it be that this is the timeline of Sudan. If we say that Sudan has been ruled by coups and military regime for 60 years out of 68 years of independence. So it has only had democratically elected civilian government just for 8 years. So the British came to Sudan 1889, and then before they moved, war in South Sudan started because the British, they adopted the policy of closing zones area in South Sudan, send missionaries, and they built in the North Sudan relatively developed than the South Sudan. So the war in South Sudan started early, before the independence, and Sudan independent 1956. And then just 3 years, the first coup d'etat happened in Sudan. That was in November 1959, I think. And then the first revolution, popular revolution, it was in October 1964. And then it lasted until second coup d'etat, Jafar Nimeri, 1969. It lasted for 16 years for military rule. And then another big popular April revolution, we call it the third popular revolution. And then the third coup d'etat after 5 years, this ex-dictator of Sudan, Omar Bashir. And then South Sudan is separated, 2011. And during this struggle of Sudanese people for democracy and social justice, they have this September uprising 2013 until the recent December revolution, until the war, what is happening now in Sudan. So next. Yeah, this is the Bashir of Sudan, the ex-president of Sudan. Like early time, this president, like, he's older than the Berlin Wall. He stayed in the power for 30 years. Next. Now, yeah, 30 years of theocratic military rule. So General Bashir came to the power in a military coup against democratically elected civilian government, and he was backed by the National Islamic Front, which is like a middle-class Islamic Sudanese political party, and Bashir stayed in the power for 30 years, during which millions of Sudanese were displaced, thousands of opponents were killed or made refugee around the world, and during his rule, Sudan was split into 2 states, like Sudan and South Sudan. And a genocide was committed in that Darfur region on his borders. Next. So yeah, and I would like to say this, that the resistance to the Bashir, the military Bashir regime, started also from the first day, but Bashir, with his security apparatus, they managed all the time to oppress the movement. So they were like, since very beginning 90s, they were like a resistance to the Bashir regime. Mainly was the student movement, go and take in the street, but the security apparatus managed to arrest them, to close the university for like many times, and after the separation of Sudan, Bashir also was dependent in the oil of South Sudan. So there were like economic collapse in North Sudan after the separation of South Sudan. And Bashir adopted the IMF, this International Monetary Fund, the World Bank policies. So at the end of September 2013, a wave of protest broke out in Wad Madani. It's a city in Al Jazeera state in Sudan, Khartoum and Durman, and other towns across all Sudan, after President Bashir announced an end of fuel subsidies, also high price of fuel and bread, and more than 200, this is not 2,000, more than 200 being reported, including children, were reported killed in the government response, and 100 more wounded. arrest and detain, some of weeks or months without charge or access to lawyers, medical or family visits. And this was the first time to unleash the Janjaweed, also RSF militia in Khartoum city to stop the uprising with guns. So there's those masked men, and I remember this photo was taken in Durman. I was there with the people, and I remember this was first time for Bashir to unleash the Janjaweed militia, this masked men with turbans. They were coming from the forwards onto Khartoum, and they were shooting the people directly on head. They were shooting this mass of people directly in order to kill them. So, and it took the Sudanese people more than 5 years to heal and to recover, to reorganize themselves against the dictatorship. Next. So yeah, and we came to December Revolution, Thawra. Thawra, it's an Arabic word, of course. Most of you know. Thawra is mere revolution in Arabic. That was 2018, December 2018. Thawra Sudaniya. Next. Yeah, the word Thawra, which is mean in Arabic, revolution, was painted in every single wall, inside inner street and outside main street. Everywhere, the people started to use stencil and graffiti to mobilize for revolution. So this is like inner street in also Durman neighborhood. This Thawra is written there. Next. And with kind of during the December uprisings, kind of this stencil of Sudan former dictator Omar Bashir were buried also in every town and village, and they call him to step down, get out. Next. Down to the military regime. This is the stencil. This is we found it like everywhere, in every corner, every single street. You will find kind of this stencil graffiti. Next. So down to Bashir regime. On 19 December 2018, protesters in the industrial worker city of Atbara, it's called Atbara, burned the headquarters of the Bashir ruling party, it's called NCP, National Congress Party. So this is the headquarters in Atbara city, and the protesters, they burned the Bashir headquarters, so it marking the start of a mass demonstration in all cities and villages across Sudan. 19 December. Next. And then this photo was posted in the same day, like in the social media. This is the main slogan of Sudan Revolution: freedom, peace, and justice. This is revolution. Thawra, Hurriya, freedom, peace, and justice. Next. Yeah, and it become like everywhere. You know, this is like very. If you can read in Arabic, this is in this collapse wall. They write in, because it's collapse wall, so they write in revolution will not collapse. You will find that the Shab Yurid Isqat al-Nizam everywhere. It was also in neglected area. Next, you will find that in the middle of, I don't know, it's like neglected old building. Sagatat, it's fell, or Bashir, like this kind of graffiti. Next. Yeah. And then the resistance leader, the so-called Sudanese Professional Association, in alliance with the resistance committee, they start to mobilize for a big day, recalling the April Revolution, which was like uprising against the ex-dictator Jafar Nimeri of Sudan. It was happening in April. So they start to mobilize for a mass demonstration on 6th of April 2019. So within a month, the walls was full again of the date of 6th of April, and the hashtag and revolutionary graffiti was also like a big movement is happening. It's followed also by like a weekly and night demonstration. Yeah, and as I said, this is like just like a very small farm in North Sudan, you find this al-Qiyada Ras means we're going to the headquarters, we're going to the military. Just for. Next. So this is the day, the 6th of April. 6th April. Next. Yeah, in the sunny afternoon of 6th of April, after 5 months of a daily demonstration and a very hard struggle against the security apparat and the military oppressed on the bloodshed and killings, the resistance, so Sudanese resistance, managed to occupy the military headquarters in Khartoum with the support of mass of millions of Sudanese people in Khartoum city, and they demand an immediate end to military rule and power transfer to civilian. Next. So this is in the same evening in Gleichenabend, and the resistant leaders, they decided they will have ihtisam, sit-in, which is sitting this is the military headquarters, and this is the Khartoumian, or the Sudanese people. They're saying we're not going anywhere, we will sit here. So they start like a very famous sitting in the history of Sudan in front of military headquarters. You get back. Oh, next. So yeah, this is the general command of the Bashir and the military of Sudan, and it's turned to be an open radical graffiti fabric of the protester demand. The Al-Sawra revolution is a people option, Sagadat, this kind of slogans. Next. And yeah, if we talk about Sudan revolution, the main slogan of Sudan revolution, like just fall, تسقط بس, being translated to just fall, it means like no negotiation with Bashir or with his government, down to the military regime, يسقط حكم العسكر, and as I said, حرية سلام وعدالة, freedom, peace and justice, and civilian rule like مدنية, حكم مدني. Also, some other famous slogan Sudanese, راس العسكر للسكنات والجنجويد الحل. So the military to the barracks and the Janjaweed disband. This is militia at Janjaweed. It's the militia formed by the ex-president, the ex-Bashir of Sudan. It's called Janjaweed. Now they are taking part in the war of Sudan, supported by the Emirati. But we will talk about them. So this is the militia. ما في militia بتحكم دولة. This is the main slogan of the Sudanese now. There's no militia that rules a country. Yeah, this photo is also from the sitting. This guy, this comrade is mobilizing to use the art in the sitting area, so to make it like to make the sitting areas like attractive for more people, like using art to also to document our demands and to say revolution is art. الثورة فن. Next. Yeah, the sitting outside the military headquarters was a great opportunity for artists to meet, paint and use the wall around the area to create revolutionary graffiti and murals. This was painted in the headquarters of the military. Yeah. So that's that. In 5 days, from 6th of April until 11th of April, so the military junta forced al-Bashir to step down, imprison him, and promised to hand over power, agreeing on military transition period, which is the revolutionary forces totally rejected, demanding full civilian power. Even in the transitional period should be civilian power. So they reject the first military council. And this was one of the famous Sudanese. This is the wall of Khartoum University. It's called Madaniya. It's a civilian rule. Also one of the most important slogan of the uprising, and it's also separated through walls and everywhere. Madaniya. Next. Yeah, this is the Adbara worker train. This is the city where 19th of December, where everything started from Adbara, where they burned the headquarters of Bashir. They came to Khartoum with this train to support the sitting. And next. Those the worker in the city of Adbara were posting this photo in the main website or social media. They were saying, Qadimun, that we are coming. And this is the workers' moral in Khartoum, like to play them. Sudanese woman. So this is quite well known as the Sudan uprising. It's like it was a woman revolution. They were all the time since the very beginning in the front line. So you go. Next. So this picture is quite well known, at least in the Western media. Next. This kind of also like one of the famous feminist graffiti work, Suri. Rise up. So Banata, the revolution is the girls' revolution. Yeah, the sitting is lasted for almost 2 months, with the fundamental demand of full civilian power. So the sitting was before until Ramadan time, and also in Ramadan time, it's become like a communa. It's become part of the city, Khartoum city culture, life culture. Like millions of Sudanese people, they go there, they gather, they cook food together, they live there actually. They never go there, they stay, they ask for civilian power. But the military junta had understood that the Sudan revolution is very powerful. And the only way to represent themselves is to terrorize the movement. So they unleashed a militia, which is the Janjaweed militia, which is militia based on the most backward element in our society. So they unleashed them and they rampage to protester area in Khartoum, killing, raping, and they even dumped the body of the people, of the protesters in their need, which is quite well known of the Sudan massacre, 3rd of June 2019. So this is the first, like in the dawn of the 3rd of June, this is the Janjaweed militia. Those the people they don't block to protect the other protesters. Terrorists, they use their bodies as to protect the sit-in. This is the troop of Damas, Janjaweed militia, heading to, yeah. But yeah, and then they put the military junta, after committed this massacre, they put Sudan totally in media blackout. There's no internet, no telecommunication, no media blackout. But the protesters, they went away. This is like in Khartoum, in Durman, sorry. They're saying the demonstration begin after this. They saying in Durman, this is the boundaries of the sitting. The sitting now is everywhere, and we're still asking for Madaniya, which is the civilian rule. Yeah. So as I said, that Sudan was under a media blackout, but the people started also to use the walls again as graffiti to call for a million march demonstration against the military junta again in 3rd June. So after committing this crime, the resistance, they were just recovering, rehealing, reorganizing, using walls and text, what is it called, the SMS, calling for a big demo in this day. So this is a bad picture, bad resolution picture from the day. This is the airport street This is also from Airport Street. This is also from Khartoum. Yeah. And during this time, during these months of the Sudanese people were trying to get rid of the military junta, to have their own right, to have their own to have the social justice, to have the civilian, the what's so called the international community, or will also have their own counter plan. So this is Frau Merkel, and this guy is named Abdullah Hamdok. He's one of the international figure for Sudanese. They were having a conference in Berlin in July 21, 22. They call it the Sudan neighborhood country. Everyone was invited except the Sudanese. There were no Sudanese. And they were designing a model, they call it the Sudanese model of partnership between the civilian and the military. This is a German proposal. So a civilian-led partnership government was formed from outside, from here, from Berlin, while the Sudanese people have no internet. They have no any clue what is happening there. As between the forces of freedom and change, which is somehow linked to the revolution, and the military junta. By the order of this agreement, General Burhan, the de facto president of Sudan now, became the head of Sovereignty Council. And Hemeti, the leader of this militia, he became his deputy. And this smart guy, Abdullah Hamdok, became the head of the transitional period. This poster was from Sudan Uprising, calling for a demonstration against this meeting in Berlin. Yeah, and then they signed the agreement in Khartoum. This is Hemeti, Burhan, and this guy representing the revolution. Yeah, and they signed a constitutional document. So for like this Sudanese model, we will have like a partnership between the military council and the civilian. It should last for 4 years to have like a free democratic election in 4 years. Next. So yeah, so the people of Sudan from the revolution, they divided. Some of them, 5 minutes?
Roughly, a bit more.
Yeah, it's a long story.
Take your time.
So yeah, the people of Sudan, they divide. So they accept the deal. Some of them, they accept it. They forced to accept this government with the main demand of justice, must be done. Justice for the murderers, for the people who have been killed by the military junta. Next. Yeah, this, for example, this in the Nile Street, in the large ward of University of Khartoum, near the barricades where the martyrs were killed, the resistance committees carried out this large memorial, where it became a place of revolutionary gathering in Khartoum city. This is what also Moral in the Al Jawda hospital, Murad, where the body of revolution, many bodies were found there. Yeah, next. Next, this is also one of the figure of Sudan revolution. His name Abdel Salam Kishya. This is his mom's house, so they banned it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, and then on 25th of October 2021, the Sudanese military junta led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, this one, and the RSF leaders, the Janjaweed leader Hamdan Dagalo, the one with the COVID mask, regained control of Sudan in a bloody military coup. They put the Abdullah Hamdok in prison, and they regained Sudan in a military coup. Next. But since the beginning of this coup, October coup, the resistance has started. People from all over the country took the streets to reject the new military rule in Sudan. And the neighborhood resistance committees across the country took the lead in against the coup since the very beginning of the coup. And also the military, they start to to kill the people in the street, like with no shame. Next. Yeah, and also this Abdullah Hamdok again, under pressure from the mass street protest from the resistance committee, Al Burhan released Dr. Abdullah Hamdok, and an agreement was reached that Hamdok will return to the office again. This was totally rejected by the resistance committees. لا تفاوض لا شراكة لا شرعية. So this no negotiation, no partnership, no legitimacy. So known in the context of the Sudan uprising, the three no's, اللآت الثلاثة, it's also historical significant in terms of resistance, as it was the slogan of the Arab League conference in Khartoum shortly after the June setback, the Arab setback. It was no peace, no recognition, no negotiation with Israel. So these three no's, the resistance committee recall it against Burhan Himiti military coup. It's become like also closing the door from the opportunists to have any kind of deal with the military again. Next. This is it, like in East Sudan city, this the three no's. Next, you can go fast. This also from in Khartoum. This was also from part of Khartoum. This لا تفاوض لا شراكة لا مساواة. So no deal with the military, no negotiation. Yes. This the resistance committees, neighborhood resistance committees. This Sudanese model of uprising. It's called Lijan al-Muqawama in Arabic. So it's like informal grassroots neighborhood-based network in Sudan, in Sudanese residents that begin organizing civil disobedience campaigns against the government of Bashir in September 2013, where this September started, and grow into a large organized network that played a key role during the Sudanese revolution, and they became the main leaders of the protest against Burhan Hamiti coup in October 2021. So yeah, it's the resistance committees. They became, as I said, they were saying we need no leaders. We are the leader of the street. We had enough with the elite of Sudanese elite, and then they came out with this revolutionary chart for establishing people powers. It's their manifesto that was like for more than 1 year where they were working together to come out with this manifesto. ميثاق الثوري لسلطة الشعب. And if anyone of you are interested, it's like translated into English and German. It is available in the migration control website. This migration control website, you can find the text in English and Arabic and Deutsch. Next, down to the military regime. This is a picture from demo in Omdurman neighborhood, like a demonstration rejecting the coup d'etat. And this is the slogan of freedom and peace and justice. Next. This is the slogan of anti-RSF, anti-militia. There is no militia can control the land. We will never give it. Yeah, next. And then that for more than 1 year, the coup wasn't able to run the country, so they couldn't form a government because the rejection of the mass of Sudanese people, the demonstration day and night and every day, and between this acceptance and the rejection for many proposals from them, then came the UNITAMIS. This is a special United Nations mission. And again, the German with the proposal of like build the partnership again with the military, and they have what's so-called al-Ittifaq al-Itari agreement, framework agreement, and then next. Yeah, and then in Ramadan 2023, on 15th of April, a war started in Sudan between the militia, the military, the SAF, what's so-called the national army, against the militia in Khartoum city. They occupied in like one hour, they occupied the airport and the main broadcast, like TV and radio Sudan broadcast, and part of the military headquarters, and they start this devastating war. This picture from this morning of 15th of April. Yeah, since then, thousands of Sudanese have lost their lives, millions of Sudanese have fled their homes to neighboring countries, and as IDPs within Sudan in search of safe havens, women have been raped by the Janjaweed militia. Millions face common female children have been taken out of schools, and the militia have committed many atrocities and war crimes. So, I don't know how long do you have time?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
So yeah, this is who's funding the war in Sudan. I would be just like running. Who's funding the war now is Emirati. Mohammed bin Zayed of Emirat is funding the war in Sudan. And he have like alliances. You know in the big power who is alliance with this international power, this Emirati. He have like regional alliance with Haftar of Libya, the Chad and Central African Republic, and Wagner Group, this militia, police militia of Russia. Next. RSF, this militia, this slide was trying to tell that Bashir troops, he sent the RSF militia to the Saudi-led coalition war in Yemen. So they became the main ground force in so-called Arab coalition in Yemen. Next. So this is the map of Horn of Africa. I was trying to tell that the road for migration from to Europe, and Sudan is a transit land for the migration Europe. So next, the EU and RSF. EU is also one of the main source of funder of the RSF. So the role of Sudan as Europe partner was formalized within the launch of Khartoum process in November in Roma. It continues with the allocation of big budget from the Trust Fund for Africa and the opening of high-level dialogue between the EU and Omar al-Bashir dictatorship to achieve the Malta objectives. Next. So the EU has been funding the RSF and using them as external hardline to prevent the immigrants from the Horn of Africa from crossing the Sahara Desert to Mediterranean Sea. There is also a reference, if you border control from hell, how the EU migration partnership legitimized Sudan militia. That's by Suleiman Baldoun. Also, that's how the European Union financed operation from Rita is also in migration control. Next. Yeah. I like this picture.
You're just like messing with me.
Next. So yeah, we are coming to the last slides. The war is continue. The humanitarian catastrophe continue. The capitalist expansions and the ambition increase, and it's become global proxy war, in which neither the Sudanese nor the forces of the free people have any interest in this war. But yeah, we will never surrender and we will never be defeated. Thank you very much.
So I was just told that so we're not allowed. So we started late, but we're not allowed to go much later. It's not my fault.
People are already waiting outside for the next thing, and I think if we have to let them wait for 30 minutes and everything.
Like I think 10:15
10 more minutes, it's okay,
Yeah.
but it's really the max.
But we started 20 minutes late because people didn't leave the room.
Okay,
so
10 minutes.
10 minutes and then, yeah. Okay, so, yeah. So I would just allow for a few questions, I think, just because we don't have that much time. Who would like to ask a question or make a comment or share something?
Thank you so much for this presentation. I feel like the situation in Sudan is something that a lot of people don't know much about, especially in Germany. So I want to thank you for your work in educating those of us in this room. Can you speak a bit more, maybe, about this connection between the EU and the RSF? And in particular, is there advocacy being done to the EU on this issue? And if so, what is happening and what are the entry points so that in the name of preventing migration to Europe, the EU does not contribute to human rights violations? Because we're seeing that in Sudan, we're seeing that in Libya, we're seeing that in lots of places. Like the EU's borders have been externalized into the African continent. So I'd be interested to know, number one, more about that, and in terms of how it's happening in Sudan. And number two, who is advocating or mobilizing against this, particularly when it comes to Sudan with the EU and countries like Germany.
Is it okay if I collect a few questions and then you
Yeah,
make
we
a...
can collect
Yeah,
questions.
okay. Yes, please.
Yeah, for me,
I think you need to speak up. I know I have the same
sure,
problem,
sure.
but
Okay, no problem.
yeah.
I was just a little nervous. Actually, just the racial criteria, like also like the mixed population in Sudan. What role does it play in the war and in the revolution? Like because there are also like many like Arabic people that also have different complexions. So how does it foster or does it play any role, any part in the war and the revolution at all?
What is it? Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat again? Sorry.
The ethnic links decided from non-Arab, from Arab to non-Arab.
Yeah. So like the Sudanese black people and the Sudanese like
We are all black.
Huh?
We are all black. But understanding. Thank you.
I have a question about this deal with Angela Merkel. You explained that a supposedly representative of the resistance, the social movement, it sounded like a compromise, but I wanted to know if you know more about this supposedly representative of the people, the Sudanese people, if he actually is from the resistance, the social movement, or who he is, and why they even agreed to do such a deal, or what the background of all of this is.
Are you going to take one last and...
Okay.
Yeah? You can say no.
I mean, we can take
Well, and then you have more time to say everything you want to say. Yeah. And then that's your last.
Yeah. My question is, you showed us the word in graffiti for revolution, and then you also mentioned the word in Arabic for resistance. And I'm just wondering which one is like more weight, because it seems like revolution, many people at the top can say we made it through a putsch or whatever, but the word resistance, that actually revolution means resistance to everything, on the world scale as well, and the question of Israel and so on. It's just interesting that maybe at the core is resistance. That's important. I don't know if there was a vote or something which is more important. I think they go together, but like it's interesting, why did they call that resistance committees and not revolutionary committees?
Yeah.
It's a relationship.
Yeah. So it's a bit challenging to go about with like the stolen time from us. There's some personal connection, so what can I do? Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so just a quick question to Ibrahim around the neighboring countries and their role in what's going on, especially the border regimes. Because we've been hearing stories of Sudanese people getting deported from Egypt and getting treated very badly in Ethiopia. And just a continuation of what Chitra said, where Ursula von der Leyen gave 7 billion to Sisi. And what do you think he's going to do with that money?
So my suggestion would be you take your time to respond, because I don't want to rush you, and then you can all follow Sudan Uprising, and I'm sure there will be other talks, and hopefully that will be an ongoing conversation. So I hope that's fine if I cut you down here and you take your time. You've got like 7-ish minutes, or water. Actually, also, is someone able to open these?
Yeah.
So yeah, in response to what Mom was saying, I just want to advertise we are organizing a political event with some Egyptian comrades in Berlin about the refugees, the Sudanese refugees in the neighbor countries. Thank you very much. That will be in December, middle of December. Will be announced. It will be in Kuti in this Festival, 12th of December. It's like we will be focusing in the EU and the Egyptian and the Sudanese refugees, and how it's become like a new dirty card for internationally, how they started to use and to get benefit out of this, and how is the UN also deal with the UNHCR dealing with the Sudanese refugees in Sudan. So this will be next month, and I don't know where to start. Like if
take your time.
So this, as I said, the Sudan is a transit land for the migrant from the Horn of Africa, and Sudan itself is also source of migrants and refugees. Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, South Sudan. Most of the people crossing to Libya, heading to Libya in order to find like a haven, or like fleeing war, or like climate change, or like poverty, or whatever, or like this EU policies and militarization in our regions. So the European Union, especially the German, they started this Khartoum process. Khartoum process, it's like they call it like human trafficking agreement. They call it anti-human trafficking, but it is to stop the refugees or migrants not to come to Europe. So they found this in Malta with like almost 22 countries, head of a Sisi, like Mr. Sisi is the head of this Khartoum process with Bashir. And they actually at the same time when they found this Frau Merkel who found this was a proposal on CDU to the EU. So in the same time they rebrand this militia. This militia, as I said, it was formed from Bashir regime to fight the rebels from Darfur region. And when it comes to the question of Arab, Sudanese Arab and non-Arab, so the Bashir started to militarize the Arab tribe, what's so-called Arab tribe in Darfur region, to give them weapons in order to fight the non-Arab Darfurian. And the Arab and non-Arab in Sudan is based in the language. So if you speak just Arabic, it means you are not from the Arab tribe. It's like one person like me who is like speak Arabic and Nubian language is not an Arab, and this is legal to kill them. So it's not about the skin color, it's about the culture of the just about the language. If you have another language which is like indigenous language in Africa, indigenous, they consider as non-Arab. And this was fueled by the Bashir regime and the Islamic Front, because this Islamic government is ideology who are trying to use the Arab and Islam as ideology to stay in the power. So they were feeding this Arab culturism, this Arab, and they have no any base than the language base. So the Zakawa of Darfur, because they have another language, so they're not Arab. And Sudan is like holy Arab country. This is the war. This is the sort of, and this political dirty ideology end in the genocide, killing the non-Arab, as they said, in Darfur, like using bombardment and burning the village. So this militia, which has committed all this crime, rebranded by the European Union, it was called from the Sudanese people the Janjaweed militia. Janjaweed militia it's mean literally devils in a horseback. Jinn Rakib Jawad, devils came in a horseback because they used horses to burn the villages in Darfur. So they rebranded with Bashir. They call it Rapid Support Forces to make it like a paramilitary militia. And the European Union started to fund Sudan to train this militia to close the border, to close the Sahara. 2014 till now they are denying. They were saying no, we're not supporting. If they got many investigations, they say no, we were not supporting them. We were supporting. Just 1 minute. We were supporting the Sudan government, the police. But it's actually this is it. This is one of the sources of the finance of the Janjaweed militia. And then by the end, this militia has become like Emirati militia, 100% for the Emirati, to control not just Sudan, all the Sudanic belt, like Niger, Sudan, Central Africa, and Libya, in their holy war against the Islamic movement of supporting and then they're getting all the gold of Sudan, actually. This is it. Thank you. I wish if we can have more time. But thank you very much and see you soon.